All right, hello class. So here we start another week. You'll probably notice that there's a little bit more lecture time required for you to watch. You need to make sure that you watch these lectures cover to cover, and I mean from the beginning to the end. And I want you to watch the video clips entirely that I post. I want that every week, but I just want to make it clear that I do sometimes have the, see in notes, students tend to address maybe the first 30 seconds of my lectures, and I'm, not always sure if everybody's watching from the beginning to the end. And if I get that, an impression that that's happening too often, I'm going to start having quizzes that will deal with very significant aspects of what I'm writing to make sure that you guys are being held accountable to that. This is for your benefit. The information I'm putting out is specifically, it's, of course, a professor is not going to say, oh, well, I only say some important things. But I feel like I stick on topic very well. And I'm making a choice to cover certain topics with you in the lectures on very limited things, as opposed to covering like just a straightforward narrative lecture, okay? And so I just want you to just keep that in mind, okay? So you guys are doing really well. I'm not seeing those kind of tendencies too much, but just remember that when you write notes and your papers, just follow directions and give me the content of what you have. Howard Zinn, whatever. Some of you, give me critical remarks about him, and as you can see, I'm fine with that. As long as you're demonstrating to me that you are going over the material, your grades will be what they are right now. Many of you are having very strong grades, and I want you to be able to keep it up that way. Okay, so good job. Now, I just also kind of want to say that I am touching on controversial ground, in that something like the founding fathers, as we go into, and the question of the fact that I'm posting, giving you guys articles that completely attack the revolution. For those of you who are not necessarily from a patriotic background or ultra nationalist or nationalist background, you may even be puzzled why that would be an issue. But it can be an issue, and I hope what you're seeing is instead of me cramming this one idea down your throat, I hope that you're really seeing that I'm exposing you to a range of views, okay? And there are plenty. I could expose you to more, but then I'm going to end up taking up more of your time, and we're already doing a lot. Okay, so this should get you going on the right track to find and explore, okay? And secondly, I just want to kind of address my post that I did. We had 9/11 memorial, and we saw, I posted the Alan Jackson video, and then I posted, which would be straight up appropriate and logical, regardless of whether one likes country music or not, okay? But I'm in a American U.S. class, U.S. history class, and we have an American having a reaction to that day. I thought it was appropriate to just reflect about how, that was almost an instant poetic reaction to it. Then I put a video about the terror within, about the Oklahoma City bombing. And that might seem a little bit off. Why did I do that? You may not even have watched that clip or not, but I just, it's because I wanted you to remember. I am a world historian mainly by my training, and particularly the Middle East. And just to remind us that one of our worst terrorist attacks that hit us and civilians were targeted and killed was by one of us. Not just one of us, it was an honored military veteran who first killed Muslims and learned how to fight in a war over there before he did that and killed us over here. There's kind of irony in that. Now, I am not making a derogatory comment about Iraq war veterans and troops. This is actually kind of my point that I'm making. We don't fear white Army veterans, even though that terrorism act he did was by him and he was a part of militias. We don't really fear militias, even though militia movements are a thing, they're reality. And he was inspired by many ideologies that come from our own soil. But I think why we don't fear as much is that we have friends and families in the military, so we know that not everybody in the military would think like that. We know that. And we know what kind of language and ideas that they would speak that would probably make us wonder if they were going astray, you know, in terms of their ideology or what they were thinking. We know how to identify something that would be extreme, like a militia group. I think this is what I think, right? Okay, but when foreigners do something, we don't know, or many Americans don't know. I remember after 9/11, people from India, from the Punjab province, Sikhs with the turbans, were being attacked by people. Well, they're not even anywhere close to the conflict. They're not Muslims even. Even if we were to just take that stereotype and blame all the Muslims, they're not even Muslim. But then many Muslims died in 9/11 as well. So, but importantly that I wanted to mention is that many people of color were feeling the fear coming from Americans. I know when I was in Modesto, I saw Confederate flags all of a sudden flying up right after the American flag. Now the American flags, we all put those up in solidarity of our loss. Then the Confederate flags came up, and I said, "Oh, what are you trying to say?" And many of my friends that were darker skinned were feeling that fear coming from other people. But we've had terrorism by our own kind. We're not feeling that fear. We're not even talking about remembering a Memorial Day to what Timothy McVeigh did, right? I just want you to think about that, okay? Because it's all bad, right? I mean, he killed kids. He killed innocent civilians. He hit the federal building, right? Okay? But we don't say never forget, or do we? I mean, I just want you to think about that, right? And that's what I'm always trying to do, is just get us all thinking about things that maybe we don't always think about. And so I hope that you accept what I'm saying in all due respect for the solemnness and the seriousness of the times that we had to reflect upon, and also think about the fact that, you know, events have been used as a reason to go to wars that even very conservative, normally hawkish people may not now, you know, I mean, there's a lot of dead Iraqis and there's a lot of injured and dead U.S. soldiers. You know, does always going to war serve the interests of a more peaceful and just society? These are important questions, and I have to say that I have many friends and some of my former students from the military that expressed what I just said as well. And so my whole point is that I'm not a pacifist. It's just, again, I think that we need to, like, really, I want history to be important enough that it helps us think, to look at the results of what happens and what we do, and look where we've been going, and hopefully as voters and as participants and sometimes activists, you know, in America, that we can use this information and these reflections and these alternative points of view to help us make better decisions so that the world gets better instead of getting worse. That's all I have to say on that. You guys have a great week, and you know, we'll be in touch as the assignments flow. Okay? All right.